Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create this super cute whisper hook only bracelet. This is another design by Christy on Instagram. It's 7284 Christy, and I will link her Instagram handle right here. So I would say that this design is not a beginner friendly hook only. If you're experienced, you may find it easy, but if you are brand new, I wouldn't start with this one. I also have not figured out if I can convert it on the loom. I'm pretty sure it's capable, but because there's so many bands that are on the hook at once, that poses a real problem. So chances are it's not going to be done. With that being said, you will need approximately 222 bands total. The breakdown is 93 of this border, 86 of the hot pink, and 43 of the blue. You will also need a double-ended hook and one C-clip. So let's get that stuff ready and we can get started. To get started, you're going to have your double-ended hook ready. We're going to start by choosing the first color, which is going to be the border. So this Sweets pink right here. I'm going to be using Sweets white. And we're going to start by placing a cap band on. And then we're going to pull another one through. We're going to pull this through the entire cap band, but before you close it off, we need to pick up the left side of the cap band and get it back on our hook. Close that off, but make sure you keep them in that order. So we now need to pull 4 bands through on each side, and this part is very repetitive. So we're going to pull this through the first 2. We're going to skip the first, pick up the outside band, and close it off. And we're going to keep doing that same step. Pull your next one through the first 2. Skip the first, pick up the outer one, and close it off. We have 2 more to do on this side. Pull it through the 2, pick up the outside one. Going to do that one more time. Pull it through 2, and pick up the outside one. So we need to slide it down and do the same thing to the other side. Before we start adding the 4 onto this side, we need to pick that cap band back up. So you're going to remove this last band right here and scoop that other side of the cap band back up onto your hook and close it off. Keep those 2 in that order. And now we're going to do the same thing, pulling 4 through on this side. So you're just going to keep pulling it through the first 2 and picking up that outer one. I have 1 more left to do. All right. So if you count all of the bands that are up here on your hook right now, there will be 12 total. This is a 12 loop setup. So from here, we are going to choose our next color, and that's going to be the blue. I'm going to be using this limited edition black, and we're going to be pulling this through the first 7. We're going to skip the first 2, and we're going to pick up the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. So it's the 5 outer bands that you're picking up, and then close that black off, and we're going to slide that black to sit in the middle, just like that. We're going to switch colors again, and we're going to grab this pink. I'm going to stick with a pink, but it's a little different. And just by the way, you guys, we do things a little different in the beginning, but once the pattern repeat starts, I will let you know. So we're going to be pulling this through the first 6. We're going to pick up the first. We're going to skip the 2nd and 3rd. And pick up 4, 5, and 6. So pick up the 3 outer ones and then close that pink off. And you want that pink to sit as the 3rd band in right here. Slide it down, turn it around. We're going to do that on this side. So pull it through the first 6. Pick up the first one. Skip the 2nd and 3rd and pick up the outer 3. Close that pink off. And rearrange it so that it's the 3rd band in. We're going to go back to our black center color, and we're going to be pulling this through the first 8. And then we're going to pick up the first, skip the second and third, and you're going to pick up the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. So all 5 of those outer bands are getting picked back up. Close that black off, and we need that black that we're pulling through to be the 5th band in. So it sits right next, this is the one we pulled through, it sits right next to the center black we already had there. And my pink that are down here usually end up really messy looking. One's usually like over here. Don't worry about how that looks. It will fix itself in the next round, so do not get concerned if it looks kind of crazy. So now we're going to grab our border color. And we're going to pull this through the first 2. And then we're going to pick up the outside band and get that back on our hook. While we're down here, we're going to grab a pink. Pay very close attention that your bands over here did not come out of order. Specifically these 2 right here. That white band should be crossing over the pink like mine is. So double check yours. If it's all good, we can go ahead and pull this through. And we're going to be pulling this through the first 7 bands. We're going to skip the first, pick up the second. We're going to skip the third, and we're going to pick up the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Close off that pink, and you want that pink to sit as the 3rd band in, like that. We're going to slide this down, turn it around, and we're going to do those 2 steps down here. So we're going to add the border and then add the pink. So I'll grab my border first, and we're going to pull that through the first 2. I'm going to pick up the outside band. I'm going to check my order and make sure my pink is the 4th band and then the white is crossing over. I am good. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my pink. We're going to pull this through the first 7. We're going to skip the first, pick up the second, skip the third, pick up the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. So those 4 outer ones, and then close it off and rearrange it to be the 3rd band in. We are at the start of the pattern repeat, so from here on out, this is exactly what we will be doing over and over again. The order of this bracelet is very important. These 3 bands here, you're going to have to constantly play with on both sides. That white band specifically does not want to stay there, so I will keep reminding you to check that order when the time is necessary. I specifically just look at one side at a time, the side that you're working on, because otherwise you'll just be fixing it nonstop. So there's 3 steps, and this is step 1. We're going to pull our center black band through the first 9. We're going to pick up the first, skip the second and third, and we're going to pick everything else up. So we're picking up the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, closing that black off. And we want that black to be the 6th band in. So it should sit right next to the black that was already there. So we are going to go to step 2, and that's going to be pulling our border through. So we're going to pull this through the first 2. We're going to pick up the outside band. And now this next step, which is step 3, is going to be pulling a pink through, but this is where the order matters. So you have to make sure that these bands right here are now in the correct order. So you should have 3 whites, a pink, a white, and then a pink. So basically just make sure that that white is crossing over and sitting in the middle. Grab your pink band, and we're going to go ahead and pull this through the first 8 bands. We're going to skip the first, pick up the second, skip the 3rd and 4th, and pick up the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. So you're picking up the outer 4 and closing it off. We want that to be the 3rd band in, like so. We're going to slide it down and turn it around. The only bands I'm worried about right now are my borders down here. They need to be fishtailed, and it looks like they actually came undone, which that part doesn't actually usually happen. So I re-fishtailed it. The one that's on the outside should be coming from the inside of the one in front of it. So I'm good to go there. I'm going to go ahead and add my border on. This is going through the first 2. Pick up the outside band. And now this is where we have to check the order of these 3 bands, which you can see mine are not in the right order. So my 4th white right here needs to be crossing over that pink. So I'm going to pull that over. Like so. Now I'm good to go. I'm going to grab my pink. And we're going to pull that through the first 8. We're going to skip the first, pick up the second, skip the third and fourth, and pick up the outer 4. Close that off. Rearrange so it's the 3rd band in. And that was the end of the section. 3 steps. I don't think it's too bad. Once you start repeating, you'll see. So we're going to start that again. And we will start with step 1, which is our center black. We're going to pull that through the first 9. We're going to pick up the first, skip the second and third, and we're going to pick up everything else. So you're picking up 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, pulling that black through so that it sits as the 6th band right next to the middle black, like so. We're going to check our 2 end bands, make sure they're fishtailed. Mine are. So we're going to go ahead on to step 2 and pull a border through for this side. You're pulling it through 2 and then reclaiming the outside band. We're ready for step 3, which is my pink, but my bands came out of order, so I'm going to push this 4th band over my pink where it should be, like that. We're going to pull this pink through the first 8. We will skip the first, pick up the second, skip the 3rd and 4th, pick up the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and close the pink off and rearrange it to the 3rd position, like so. Slide it down, turn it around, and we're going to repeat on this side. So I'm going to check to make sure my 2 border bands are in order. They are. So we're going to grab our border. We're going to pull it through the first 2 and reclaim the outside band. And now before we do this 3rd step, we have to check the order of our bands right here. And of course mine are not in the right order. I don't think they ever are when it's time to do it. You always have to fix it, unfortunately. So go ahead and do that. And now we're going to go ahead and pull this pink through the first 8. We're going to skip the first, pick up the second, skip the 3rd and 4th, and you're picking up the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Close off that pink and rearrange like so. And that was the end of that section, and we're going to do that all over again. Just trying to fix this so you guys can see how it should be sitting at the end of the section like that. We're going to do that again. We're going to grab our center band and we're going to pull that through the first 9. We're going to pick up the first, skip the 2nd and 3rd, and we're going to pick everything else up. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 all getting picked up. Close off that black and bring it over to the middle so it's the 6th band in. I'm going to grab my border. This is step 2. Make sure your ends are not uncrossed. Pull it through the first 2 and reclaim the outside band. And we're going to pull a pink through, which is step 3, but we have to make sure our order is right. So I got to push this white over the pink so it's sitting like that. And now we're going to pull that pink through the first 8. We're going to skip the first, pick up the second, skip the 3rd and 4th, and we're going to pick up the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, close that pink off, and rearrange it. Slide it down and turn it around. Going to make sure my borders are right. I think they were, and I think I just made them not right. So, all right, they are fishtail now. So I'm going to pull a border through the first 2 and reclaim the outside one. We're going to do step 3, but we have to rearrange our white and pink band. So I'm going to plop that band over. I'm going to grab my pink and we're going to repeat, pulling it through the first 8, skipping the first, picking up the second, skip the third and fourth, and pick up the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Close it off. Oh, I didn't close it right. Close it off and rearrange it so it sits like that. And that was the end of the section, and we're ready to start that all over again. So I'm going to show you one last time. So we're going to take our center black band, and this is step 1. We're going to pull it through the first 9. We're going to pick up the first, skip the second and third, pick up the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. So everything after the middle 2 get picked up, close off that black, rearrange it so it sits at the 6th position. We're going to grab our border now. This is step 2. Make sure your bands are not twisted or undone. We're going to pull this through the first 2 and reclaim the outside band. We are ready for step 3, which is the pink. We need to make sure that the 4th band is pinks, and it's not right now, so I need to cross my white over it. It should always be pink, white, pink right there. I'm good now. So for step 3, we're going to pull our pink through the first 8. We're going to skip the first, pick up the second, skip the third and fourth, pick up 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, close off that pink, and rearrange it to sit in the 3rd position. Slide it down, turn it around. We're going to repeat those 2 steps on this side. So I'm going to check my borders. They look good. I'm going to grab my border and pull it through the first 2 and reclaim the outside band. I'm going to check my order here and fix them because I need my pink to be sitting where my white is. The pink should be the 4th band right now. There we go. And for step 3, we're going to pull this pink band through the first 8. We're going to skip the first, pick up the second, skip the 3rd and 4th, and pick up 5, 6, 7, and 8. Close it off and rearrange it like so. So you guys are going to keep going back to the timestamp that I'm going to place right here. Just keep rewinding and going back to that. Every time I say this is the start of the pattern, that is where you're going to pick up and keep making it over and over until your bracelet is long enough. You will end back up at this point where I am, and we will close it by simply pulling 1 border band through everything. It's a very simple closure. And then you just bring both ends together like so. That is it. That is how you create this super cute whisper bracelet. This was created by Christy on Instagram. Don't forget her Instagram handle is 7284Christy. I will link it right here so you can check her page out. If you did like this design, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And also, if you make one, don't forget to tag both of us on Instagram. So I hope this wasn't too hard for you guys. I do thank you for watching, and I'll see you really soon at my next tutorial. Thank you so much, you guys. Bye!